What's up, you guys, and welcome to another episode of Cuties for Christ. This is episode 7. I hope I'm right, but today I want to talk to you guys and I want to be for real with you guys, and I told you a lot that I wanted you to see me through this journey, through this transition of being fully obedient to God and really just living in that truth. And today I want to talk about LWCs. Are you an LWC? Be for real with yourself, okay? And when I'm talking about LWCs, I'm talking about lukewarm Christians. And the reason I'm talking about it is because I'm talking about myself, okay? So a lot of this is what I have found in myself. As you guys know, or may not know, but I always told myself, I always believed in God and I always wanted to follow by what he wanted us to live by. And I always wanted to live by the Bible, but I never really truly committed to that. I never really truly fully even tried to commit to that. So like, yeah, I knew, what I'm supposed to be doing and what's, the right from wrong, but I still kind of went against my better judgment sometimes intentionally. So this is me beginning to fully commit and actually be intentional in what I'm doing. And that is to work towards not just being a lukewarm Christian or being, sometimey or I'm doing this and doing that. And don't get me wrong, it takes time. And it takes like what they say 30 days, I think, to form an actual habit. Um, so I'm trying to be generous with myself because I don't want to try to just flip a switch because it's not going to work like that. It's like when people are, trying to go cold turkey on like smoking or, even being addicted to something. It takes more than just going cold turkey. You really have to get into that mindset that this is what I want to do. And you have to want to do it for yourself. You can't want to do it for others. You have to want to do that for yourself. And I think I have came to a time where I do want to do it for myself. I did get saved some years back. This was like maybe 2014, 2015, or something like that, before my dad passed, where I did get saved. And I think for that, when I was in that, it was always like I would talk to my friends and we would always be like, I want to get saved, I want to get saved, but I don't want to get saved and then just like do what I've been doing and things of that nature. And I think I had to get out of that because it's like you'll never be ready. It's like when you're never ready to be a parent, you're never really ready to do this or do that, or you're never really ready to start a business, but you just have to do it and you have to just do it wholeheartedly, right? And so for me, that's what it was because I'm like, if not today, then when? Because I'll never honestly be ready because I'm not perfect. And God already knows that. So I might as well do it and work towards that. So that's been like what, 10, almost 10 years ago now, or more, maybe, well, probably about 10 years ago now. But and although I was still being that lukewarm Christian that I kind of pretty much already knew that I was going to be, right? Because that's why I didn't want to get saved to begin with. Um, I was still trying to find my way. I was still very young and, just trying to figure it out, girl. It was a lot going on back then, you know what I'm saying? And I was just trying to figure it out. And I think I've come to a point where, I thank God for giving me the opportunity to figure it out because tomorrow is not promised. So who knows if I would have had, yesterday or, that many more years, 10 plus years from the time I got saved to now to actually figure it out. But, being a lukewarm Christian is being Christian. And yeah, you have a good heart, but you kind of still do what you want to do. You do what you want to do. And I think that once you get saved, you are filled with the Holy Spirit that tells you right from wrong. That's what we call discernment, right? And there's been a lot of times, y'all. And I think sometimes we also know that what's right from wrong, or we have this little voice in the back of our head telling us, okay, maybe we shouldn't do that. Maybe we shouldn't do this. But then we just kind of write it off. I think that's our, spiritual self speaking, or God trying to speak to us, or the Spirit trying to speak to us and using our discernment and actually intentionally using it, I think can take us a long way. And I think that there has been times, even when I think back on my past, even from the time where I did say, hey, I want to completely fulfill, my purpose for God. I think that there was even times where I look back and I'm like, he was trying to lead me in the right direction. He was trying to lead me out of this heartache or out of this sadness or out of this depression. And I still chose to go against my better judgment. And had I just listened to him, then I wouldn't be there. So it's like fully like, you know how sometimes you run across a video, like I ran across a video not too long ago where this TikTok video where this young boy had just given his life to Christ and gave himself to Christ and got saved and everything. And this lady rode around the parking lot. She said she rode around twice because she just had to obey God and let him know that God loves you, and some other stuff that she said. And that is the type of level I'm trying to be on. I am trying to obey God and trying to know his voice and know when I hear it and know when it's not just, the devil or enemy trying to speak to me and trying to get into my head, but that when it's God and when it's coming from love and when it's coming from a place of internal, like that's where I want to get to. And that's what I'm working on. So just fully being obedient and just listening to him whenever I get a chance. And I am working on it, and I think I'm getting a lot better, because sometimes even when I go on Facebook, and it's even as little things like this, when I go to post something on Facebook and I'm like, and something in the back of my mind says, don't post this. I have to listen to it. I delete it. Sometimes I even post it and something in the back of my mind says, delete it. And guess what I do? I delete it. I no longer just go with whatever, like, oh, well, it's already posted now, so whatever. No, I'm going to delete it. So I'm trying to get better at really learning those things. And like I said, just using my discernment to really move forward with this. And, I always have to remember too that God knows that you're not perfect. He already knows the mistakes that you're going to make. He already knows that you're going to, fumble. But where are your intentions? And also, I think it's important to know, because I think a lot of people, some of us lukewarm Christians, try to use the little saying where it's like, well, he know my heart. He know my heart. I know I'm being messy, but he know my heart. No, no. Now, don't get me wrong. He does know your heart. That's not what I'm saying no to. He does know your heart. He 100%, 100,000 million, bajillion percent knows your heart. But you also cannot abuse the fact that he knows your heart. So yes, he knows your heart. He knows your intentions. But are you abusing that? Like, are you using that as an excuse to keep doing what you know is wrong? Talk to him. Talk to him anyways. So again, you want to be very mindful, okay? You want to be very for real, okay? You want to be very focused when you're doing this. You want to be very intentional, okay? When you say, I'm going to give myself to God, I'm going to use my discernment, I'm going to do what is right, I'm going to follow the purpose that God has put in place for me. So, and sometimes I think too, also, I don't get me wrong, there are times too where I still, you know, don't take that discernment and run with it, So I still say to myself, like, okay, I messed up and I know I shouldn't have did that, but I did it anyways. And it's okay to be upset about your shortcomings, because, we're human. It's gonna happen. It's, inevitable. But you can't stay there. You can't stay in those shortcomings. You can't stay sad about them. You just have to learn from that experience, pick it up, and move on. So I didn't want to talk to you guys for super, super long, but I did want to just tell you about those, being a lukewarm Christian. Are you a lukewarm Christian? I think this takes a lot of self-reflecting and a lot of being for real with yourself. You know, I'm going to go ahead and tell you right now, am I where I want to be? Absolutely not. I would never probably honestly be where I want to be as a Christian, in all of my years, but that's the glory and the greatness of God. He's not asking you to be perfect, but to do what is right. So that's it. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up for this episode, but I hope that you guys definitely had something that you heard here today that you can take away. And I hope that you guys do some self-reflecting and just be a better person for yourself, and be a better person for yourself, for God, and for other people, and actually want that for yourself. So that's it. We're gonna keep working on us and we're gonna get it done, okay? But I'm getting there. You're gonna get there with me and you're gonna see me through it, okay? Thank you guys so much for listening. This has been another episode of Cuties for Christ podcast.